The drama starts with our heroine Sai, a sweet but lonely girl who's waiting for someone to send her a message or even notice her on Valentine's Day. But no one cares about her at all, so she says, "It's okay, I'm used to it." She stays home the whole day so she won't see couples in the streets because if she sees them, she'll feel even worse. But her friend Lulu sends her a message saying she forgot her wallet at her place and asks her to bring it to the park. So she goes out and faces the world, and couples are literally everywhere. She keeps saying, "I hope you break up. I hope so. I really do." Suddenly, a handsome and charismatic guy appears, running toward her and yelling, "Move, you blind girl!" But because of how handsome he is, she just freezes, so he jumps over her. After making sure she's okay, he walks away. She then gives Lulu the wallet and says, "Wow, look at you. Are you dating someone?" "Don't tell me you're going to meet him," Lulu replies. "No way, I'm totally against relationships. I'll never be in one." Now let's go to our handsome guy, who keeps rejecting all the girls and doesn't accept any gifts from them. He acts all cold and above it all, so people say he's arrogant and heartless. Suddenly, he bumps into Sai and she's holding something, so he grabs it. She thinks he believes it's a gift and says to him, "Excuse me, I don't give gifts. I can't even afford food, let alone a gift. And just because you're good-looking and charismatic and tall and broad and emotionally cold and every girl dreams of you, you think I'd fall for you? You're not even my type." When she gets home, her friend Ty sends her a message asking if she finished the work he sent her yesterday. She replies that she did it all. He says, "Okay then, come to the filming site and help me." Her roommate Bomi gets annoyed and says, "You're going to help him again? You know he's taking advantage of your feelings and that you like him." She replies, "Stop being unfair to him. He has very important work and no one else can help him but me. Don't worry, it'll be 5 minutes in and out and I'll be back." But when she gets to the filming site, she finds the handsome guy there. She gets surprised and asks about his relationship with Ty, so Ty explains things and says, "This is Gu, my friend and roommate." He leaves them together to get to know each other. She apologizes to Gu for what happened in the morning and how she talked to him, but he tells her he didn't even hear her, and he doesn't care. Just as she's about to insult him again, Ty interrupts and says, "Come on, we're starting work." "Look, girl," she says, "impress me. Give me a role in the movie." He replies, "Of course not. You're just going to be an extra. In this scene, you'll ride a bike and pass in front of the main actors." She says, "Seriously? You made me drop everything just to be an extra? Like there aren't 50 people here who could do that instead of me?" He replies, "Even if there were, I'd still choose you." He gives her the bike and walks away, leaving her to struggle. Then he shows the actors what they'll do in the scene. Meanwhile, she doesn't even know how to handle the bike and ends up causing an accident, nearly hitting the actor. Gu sees her, but instead of helping her, he helps the actress. Ty also rushes to check on the actress, and no one pays attention to Sai. She feels upset and worthless, thinking, "Are you here to humiliate me or what?" She goes to apply for a job, but things go badly. They reject her on the first day, saying she's not suitable. She gets frustrated and walks the streets feeling like life keeps hitting her from every direction. Then someone steals her bag and runs off. When she tries to chase him, she falls. She gets up and gathers her things, only to find her phone broken and barely working. She quickly calls Ty and tells him to come immediately. At that moment, Gu is near the phone and tells Ty, "Your phone is ringing." Ty replies, "I'm busy, you answer it." Gu picks it up and hears C saying, "Help me, come quickly to this location," before the phone dies. He rushes to her, and when he sees her condition, he feels bad and decides to help her. He treats her wounds and then offers to take her home. On the way, they run into Ty, who scolds her, saying, "Did you really skip the shoot just to go make trouble?" She feels humiliated, but stays quiet. He keeps going and asks, "What did you do this time?" She replies, "I had an accident and you didn't even care. If it weren't for your friend, I'd still be lying in the street." But he still doesn't care and walks off to sit with Lulu. C feels down, but Gu comforts her and convinces her to stay for dinner with them. Ty tells her they're planning a camp trip and everyone is going to the beach. He asks her to join them. She says she'll think about it, but Gu embarrasses her in front of everyone, saying, "You're not even in our college, so you shouldn't be coming. Be grateful we're even inviting you." She feels hurt and walks away. Lulu follows her and Ty calls her, asking her not to be upset and saying, "Gu is kind and shy. That's just how he talks to everyone, not just you." So she agrees to come and starts getting ready. The next day, Tai picks her and Lulu up in his car, but Sai starts feeling unwell on the way and gets dizzy, so both Gu and Tai help her. Of course, Lulu starts to feel jealous. Both of them are paying more attention to her than to me. That's why, as soon as they arrive, she goes with Tai and tries to distract him from C. Meanwhile, Sai goes to put down her bag, which happens to be exactly like Gu's, and says to him, "Our bags look the same. How is that even possible?" He doesn't care, just takes his bag without replying. But when he opens it, he's shocked to find her things inside. He goes to return it to her, but he can't find her. He heads to the beach and sees her looking upset. He asks her what's wrong, and she honestly admits that she's had a crush on Tai for a long time, but he never noticed her feelings and is always spending time with Lulu. He tells her, "Just forget about him and find someone else. Don't live your life hoping he'll love you someday." She says, "You know what? You're right. But wait, what are you even doing here?" He says, "Let's just return the bags. Take yours and I'll take mine." She goes with him to get the bag. Then Lulu shows up and asks to talk to her for a moment. She says, "What do you want?" Lulu replies, "To be honest, I like Tai, and today I'm going to ask him to be with me. I know you like him too, so I thought we should both tell him and let him choose. If he picks me, don't be upset, and if he picks you, I won't be upset." C laughs and says, "I'm not interested in him at all. I forgot about him a long time ago. Congratulations. You won the challenge without even starting it." She leaves her and goes to enjoy the trip with Gu. They join in the games and do many things together. Tai notices they're getting closer and starts to feel uneasy. But Lulu doesn't give him a chance to say anything. She quickly distracts him and says, "Come have dinner with me." Sai sees them and leaves to sit with Gu. They watch the stars together. While they're sitting peacefully, Tai comes over and scolds them, saying, "Why did you two leave us to come sit here alone? Is there something going on between you or what?" C tries to explain that there's nothing between them and that they're just friends. But he cuts her off and says, "Don't explain. Don't say anything. I've already understood everything. A pretty girl like you sitting alone with a strange guy? Of course I'll misunderstand." She says to him, "Don't you think you've crossed a line? I told you there's nothing between us. Besides, why are you even upset?" He says, "Everyone thinks we're dating, and now they'll think you're cheating on me." She replies, "All right, don't be upset. I'll go tell them we're not together, or actually I'm not staying here anymore. I'll just go back to the city." She starts packing her things. At that moment, Gu gets a call from the professor who wanted to work with him. He tells him he wants him to come tomorrow for an interview. Gu decides to return early too. He runs into Sai by coincidence and suggests they go back together. When Tai sees them leaving together, he thinks they planned it and gets even more annoyed. The next day, Gu prepares for the interview, but when he arrives, the professor says, "Sorry, we've filled the position. I know you're talented and smart, but unfortunately we've already reached our quota." Gu feels disappointed because he had cut his trip short and traveled all that distance for nothing. As he's leaving, a woman named Mimi hears him and says, "I work with Professor Kim, and he's currently looking for an assistant. Give me your number, and if he needs someone, I'll contact you." He thanks her for offering to help and gives her his number, saying he'll wait for her call. Meanwhile, when C returns to her dorm, Lulu comes and begs her to attend Tai's match to help reconcile them. She agrees, and when she gets there, Tai wins the match. Just as she's about to leave after being ignored by him, he hugs Lulu. C is shocked. When did they become so close? She thinks, "I came here to make peace and now I'm just confused." Tai says, "Why do you look surprised? Lulu didn't tell you we're dating?" She realizes Lulu hid it from her and feels hurt, so she leaves. Suddenly it starts to rain, but Gu appears and brings her under his umbrella. He comforts her and says, "Believe me, you deserve someone better than Tai." She replies, "Don't worry about me. I'm not upset at all. It doesn't matter to me." When she returns home, her mother calls and asks her what she's planning to do now that she's about to graduate. She tells her that she's planning to look for a job and start her career. At the same time, Gu gets a call from Mimi, telling him that Dr. Kim wants to meet him. He goes, and Gu is impressed by Kim. Kim tells him, "You'll work on a research paper. If I like it, you'll stay with us." Gu agrees and heads to the library to start working on his paper. He sees Sai there by coincidence while she's studying for her graduation project, so he decides to help her. His classmates notice because they're used to him being selfish and cold, someone who would never help anyone easily. So this girl must be special or must have cast some kind of spell on him. C feels happy and starts regaining her confidence. She asks him to explain the project more just to tease them further. After they finish, she takes the opportunity to invite him to lunch as a thank you for his help. When Ty finds out, he goes to ruin their lunch date. He calls Lulu and tells her to meet him at the restaurant to stop them from getting closer. Sai gets annoyed and says, "What are you doing here? Aren't you in a relationship? Go sit with your girlfriend." He replies, "None of your business. I can go wherever I want. I'm sitting here right in front of you." She tells him to leave because they don't need more drama and she's not in the mood for his nonsense. He snaps back saying, "Shut up or I'll drag you by your hair." And they start arguing. She tells him, "Isn't it enough that I sent you messages and you never replied just because you started dating?" He says, "Well, I didn't do anything different than you. You also ignored my calls. Looks like you found someone new too." Gu loses it and yells, "Shut up, both of you, before I smash the table over your heads." Lulu arrives and tries to calm everyone down, telling them to chill out, but she notices Ty is constantly provoking Sai. This makes Lulu frustrated too because Ty is always cold toward her and ignores her calls. She starts feeling like his whole relationship with her is just an act and that he doesn't actually have feelings for her. Suddenly, a little kid shows up with flowers, and Ty takes one of the flowers and gives it to Lulu. This hurts C, and Gu feels bad for her. He quickly gives her a flower too, but it's a sad-looking one. Then Gu pulls Ty aside and says, "You know she's allergic to nectar, right? Giving her a flower could affect her health." Ty is shocked and asks, "How do you know she's allergic? She didn't even get the chance to tell you." Gu answers, "Because I pay attention to the little things. I care." Ty realizes that Gu has feelings for C. Later, Lulu treats Sai like everyone else and tells her that she feels Ty doesn't love her the same way she loves him. She asks for help to get close to him again and starts crying. C smiles and agrees to help her. The next day, when she goes to the university, she gets a call from an unknown number telling her that Kim has accepted her to work with him. At the same time, our male lead also gets a call from a woman telling him that the company he applied to has accepted him. They're both confused. Who is Kim? And who's this woman? Then they realize they accidentally switched phones. They meet up to exchange phones and congratulate each other on their new jobs. Sai calls her friend to get more details about the job and finds out it's located far away, so she'll need to move to a new place. She starts looking everywhere, but the prices are ridiculously high. Dear viewers, they're just like the price of a like and a subscribe. It's like I'm telling you to hit the like button, and you don't. I mean, it won't cost you anything to give a like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. It won't take more than a few seconds, and it'll make us happy. One day, while she's sitting in a restaurant complaining to her mom, a woman nearby feels sorry for her and says, "I actually have an apartment that might be good for you. The price is very reasonable. Don't worry, the owner is traveling and never comes near the place." She takes her to see the apartment. Sai is shocked because the price is so low, yet the apartment is spacious and beautiful. She immediately signs the contract and pays 3 months' rent in advance. At the same time, our male lead goes to meet Kim, who tells him that he wants him to live near the lab, so he also packs his things and moves out. While he's moving, C arrives at the apartment, starts organizing her stuff, and gets excited to begin her new life. She calls her friend, and when the friend finds out she's living alone, she starts scaring her, saying, "I'm sure there's a ghost in that apartment. It's way too cheap and too big." Sai, being a bit gullible, gets terrified. She hangs up and goes to bed, but she can't stop thinking about the ghost. She's anxious and scared out of her mind. She gets up to check if the door is locked, and suddenly she feels someone pulling the door from outside. Just as she's about to scream and call for help, she's shocked to find it's him, our male lead. She yells, "What the hell? What are you doing here? Are you following me or what? Seriously, are you stalking me?" He replies, "Who do you think you are? This is my asterisk apartment." So she takes him to the lady who rented her the place. As soon as she sees him, she's stunned and says, "When did you come back? I thought you weren't returning." C stands there speechless, and the landlady explains everything. This apartment originally belongs to him, but since he hadn't been back in a while, his mother asked her to rent it out. He tells her to cancel the contract and give the money back, but the landlady says, "I can't." She already paid 3 months in advance, and I've already spent the money. You're stuck with her now. Let her live with you. He agrees, but with certain conditions. He says, in the name of God, first rule, no bringing your friends to the apartment. She agrees, but says, same goes for you too. He says, of course not. This is my asterisk house. I'll bring whoever I want. If you don't like it, leave. She says, excuse me, but why are you treating me like this? I'm paying for this place. I've paid rent, and I have every right to stay. He replies, that's what I said. Take it or leave it. He continues, second rule, and this one's important. You're responsible for cleaning the apartment 3 times a week. I want it sparkling. Just as he's about to mention the third rule, she cuts him off and says, wait, I already know the third rule. You're going to go to Movies Room channel *, scroll down, hit the like button, click subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. See? Easy and quick, right, dear viewer? On her first day, the manager welcomes her and introduces her to her colleagues. As soon as they find out she's new, they start taking advantage of her by giving her all the work and bossing her around. She becomes extremely exhausted and starts counting the minutes until she can go home and rest. But the moment she walks in, she finds our male lead standing in front of her saying, come on, don't just stand there. Follow me, it's time to clean. She tells him, come on, have some mercy. Even if you bought me from a slave market, you wouldn't treat me like this. He replies, I don't want to hear it. Just get on with the cleaning or get out. She gives in and says, fine, I'll clean. May God help me against the powerful and the cruel. Later, when she wakes up, she finds out he's busy and has a seminar with Professor Kim. She seizes the opportunity since it's his turn to clean today and lounges around the house. She eats everything in sight and takes full advantage of being home alone. For the first time, she asks him if he'll go to the dance party with her, but he apologizes and says he already has a partner, so he can't go with her. He dodges her gracefully. When he returns home, he's shocked by the mess and chaos. He starts yelling at her, asking how she could do such a thing. She replies, I don't even know. I must have gone crazy. Please forgive me this time. I was really wrong. I actually thought about getting revenge on you, but now I'll do whatever you want. I'm just a helpless potato at your feet. He says, no, you need to fix this and make up for it. She replies, not with that asterisk kind of stuff. I'm a good girl. I don't do anything like what you're thinking. He yells, oh God, what's wrong with you? I'm not asking for anything crazy. All I want is for you to come with me to the dance party, that's it. She says, oh, that's all? Cheap request. She goes to buy a dress and gets herself ready. She practices the dance and is excited that they'll meet at the party. When Mimi sees him alone, she says, you look like you don't have a partner. Were you lying to me? Come on, let's dance together. But Sai shows up just in time to save him, and when he sees her, he's stunned by how beautiful she looks. He compliments her dress, and then Tai arrives. When he sees them together, he approaches Sai and says, wow, since when did you clean up so well? She replies, since the day I left you, you jerk. I've always been clean and beautiful. You were just blind. Then she asks, where's Lulu? Isn't she your girlfriend? He says, we haven't talked in a week. She gets mad because he doesn't seem to care about Lulu, so she fights with him and walks off to dance with our male lead. Tai sees them together and gets upset and jealous. He walks up and asks Sai to dance with him too, but she refuses. He starts arguing with her, saying, how dare you reject me? Did you forget how you used to run after me just wishing for a glance? Our male lead hears this and gets angry. He says, what nonsense are you talking about? Then grabs her and walks away. She apologizes to him for ruining the party, but he tells her, I should be the one apologizing. I'm the one who asked you to come with me, and I didn't know that disgusting Tai would do something like that and embarrass you. The next day at work, Tai comes to apologize to her and begs for her forgiveness for what he did the day before. He thinks she's still naive and soft-hearted, and that she'll forgive him easily, but she snaps at him. She tells him, please stay away from me right now. I'm in a relationship, and I don't want my boyfriend to get the wrong idea. He asks her, who's the poor soul that got stuck with you? Right then, she sees Bebo passing by and quickly grabs him, saying, he's my boyfriend. Tai asks, is that true, Bebo? And Bebo responds, what? Me? I have nothing to do with either of you, no way. She gets mad and tells him, why did you lie and leave me hanging like that? Don't you want to help me? Don't you have any sisters? He replies, nope, I don't. And even if I did, it's none of your business. Now get ready. There's a residence meeting coming up. She answers, really? Fine, I'll show you. She goes with him to the meeting and starts spreading rumors about him, saying that he's not into girls. After the meeting, he goes to speak with the landlord, but the landlord's wife overhears the rumors and starts fighting with him, yelling, "Stay away from my husband!" He's confused and replies, "Why should I stay away? I'm just here to talk about the rent." She says, "No, I heard that you're not into women." He says, "What women? That's nonsense. God forbid. Who told you such stupidity?" She says, "There, look over there. Oh, never mind. Goodbye." He says, "Oh, that's how it is now? Okay, fine. Just wait. I'll get you back for all the scandals you're causing me." She starts avoiding him completely, coming home late from work so she doesn't have to see him. Not only that, she also decides to move out of the apartment altogether. She goes to Kato, the one who rented her the place, and asks her to help find a new place. Then she goes to her colleague at work, a girl named Tuna, and asks if she can stay with her for a few days until she finds a new apartment. Tuna agrees. Meanwhile, our male lead notices that she's been staying out way too late at work and starts to worry about her. Even when he calls her, she doesn't answer. He starts thinking something might have happened to her and decides to go look for her himself. But just then, Kato shows up by chance and tells him that Sai asked her earlier to help find a new apartment. She's shocked when he finds out she's planning to leave the house. He keeps chasing after her until she finally picks up the phone and asks, "What do you want?" He says, "How could you spend the night outside without telling me?" She replies, "Excuse me, and who exactly are you that I should report to you?" He tells her, "I don't know, it's just how it is. Anyway, I'm waiting for you tomorrow, and you better show up. If you don't, you have no idea what I'll do to you." He hangs up and spends the whole night thinking about their memories together. He feels lonely without her, so he doesn't wait for her. He goes and grabs her by the hand. She says, "Where are you taking me, you crazy man? I told you I'm not going back to that house." He replies, "Did you forget our contract or what? You're trying to run away just to skip cleaning? I don't care, sweetheart. Finish cleaning the house, then go wherever you want." She says, "You idiot, you fool, cleaning what?" When she refuses, he threatens to take the contract to the police and demand a huge compensation. She says, "Here it comes. God help me against this cruel, heartless man." He asks, "What did you just say?" She quickly changes tone and says, "God bless you, I'm coming with you." He seizes the opportunity and makes the whole house a mess just to keep her busy cleaning and stay longer. But she's smart. She finds a way to keep him distracted while she finishes the cleaning quickly. Then she says, "Okay, need anything else? Bye-bye," and leaves quickly. But he sees through her trick. So he orders food for her, knowing that once she eats, she usually knocks out, so he won't have to see her again that night. But this time after eating, she's full of energy and gets ready to go back to Tuna's place. He tries to scare her and says, "Aren't you scared to walk alone at this hour? What if a serial killer shows up and gets rid of you and ends the whole drama? I'm telling you now, I'm not searching for you again, you're on your own." She replies, "You're such a jinx, fine, I'll stay here." She calls Tuna and tells her she won't come tonight because it's too late. Then she goes to sleep in her room. Our male lead is overjoyed. In the morning, he makes her breakfast, finishes his work quickly, and hurries back home before her to prepare lunch too. But when he gets there, he's shocked to see she hasn't eaten any of the breakfast. He gets worried and checks on her, finding her with a high fever. He stays by her side all night until she starts to feel better. When she wakes up and sees him next to her, she thanks him for taking care of her. She gets ready to go to work, and he's surprised they're making her work while she's still sick. He tells her to take the day off, but she says they don't allow leave. He gets angry and advises her to find another job, saying it's obvious they're taking advantage of her. She takes his advice seriously and immediately resigns, then starts looking for a new job, as if all she needed was someone to push her. Unfortunately, she can't find anything, and she's afraid he might kick her out. So as soon as he gets home, she tells him, "Your wish is my command, I'm your maid for the day, how about that?" He asks, "Since when did you become so well behaved?" She says, "Starting today. I've always been a good girl from a respectable family, never raised my voice, always cleaned." He interrupts her. "Speak clearly, what did you screw up, miss?" She says to him, "You caught me. To be honest, I quit my job and haven't found any new one yet, which means I don't have money to live somewhere else. So I'm going to stay here, eat and drink for free in exchange for cooking and cleaning. What do you think?" He says, "Oh, of course I agree, but on one condition, you have to do what I say." He takes her with him to the market, and while they're there, Tai sees them together. He secretly follows them until he realizes that they've been living together this whole time. He gets furious and confronts her, shouting, "How could you not tell me you've been living with a random guy all this time?" She replies, "Excuse me, and who exactly are you to tell me who I should live with? For your information, we're just friends, nothing more." Before he can respond and continue the argument, our male lead pulls Ty aside and says, "Let me explain everything. Look, the whole thing happened by coincidence. We never planned to live together or anything like that." Ty snaps, "So, I'm just a fool stamped on the forehead, huh? You love her, don't you? Even though you know I still like her, you went behind my back and betrayed me. I'll never forgive you." He punches him, but our calm male lead stays quiet and refuses to fight back. That makes Ty feel guilty, and he apologizes again. The male lead says, "It's fine, I'll let it go, but only if you go apologize to her too." So Ty goes to her and asks if they can be friends again, promising not to fight with her anymore. She agrees to forgive him. Later on, she treats our male lead's injury, and when she gets close, he starts to feel he might actually be falling for her. When he comes back from work, he finds her sitting with a little boy and asks, "Who's that?" She tells him the boy is Kato's son and that Kato asked her to watch him for the day. The boy is polite and his name is Ding. She spends all her time playing with Ding, which makes the male lead feel jealous and upset, as if Ding has taken her away from him. When he finds out they're going to sleep in the same room, he loses it and says, "No way, that can't happen in this house." She tells him, "What house? He's just a little kid." He replies, "Yeah, but his birth certificate says he's male, so I'll take him to sleep in my room instead." He ends up regretting that decision. Ding keeps tossing and turning all night, but still, our male lead stays quiet and puts up with it. The next day, she tells him that she's going out to buy a few things, and will take Ding with her. He ends up going with them too, and she takes them to a restaurant. They all keep playing and laughing the whole time. Eventually, the male lead starts to warm up to the boy and joins in the fun. Ding gets excited and starts calling him Daddy and calls her Mommy, saying, "This is the family we've been waiting for." Just then, Mimi passes by and sees them together. She gets angry when she notices how close they look. C tries to explain before Mimi gets the wrong idea, but he tells her not to bother, letting her think whatever she wants. They return home, and Kato comes by to pick up her son. Right then, Sai receives a phone call telling her she's finally got a job. They ask her to come to the company the next day. The male lead congratulates her and reassures her that she'll do great in the interview. When she arrives, the manager tells her that after reading her resume, he noticed she has no experience in anything. He says, "Basically, you're useless, but I felt sorry for you, so I'm giving you a simple job. You'll be the manager of a famous idol named Zayn." He adds, "Don't embarrass me now." "Manager, huh?" She replies, "Of course not, I'll do my best." Later, when the male lead is at work, Mimi asks him about the kid and whether he's in a relationship. He says the boy is Kato's son, they're neighbors. Meanwhile, C returns home and decides to celebrate her new job by cooking a big meal. But since she's always unlucky, a fire breaks out in the whole building. The fire alarm goes off and everyone rushes out. The male lead arrives and is shocked to learn that she's still inside. He rushes up to check on her and finds her just in time, quickly getting her out of the apartment. She apologizes for burning the kitchen and almost setting the whole building on fire. Expecting him to be angry, he surprises her by saying, "It's okay, you're worth it." She's touched by his words and offers to treat him to dinner to make up for destroying his kitchen. She says, "I'll take you to the fanciest restaurant in all of Thailand. You'll be licking your fingers." He replies, "I want you to spoil me then." He goes with her bravely, eats a lot, and ends up with food poisoning. She rushes him to the hospital and stays by his side all night until she's sure he's okay. The next day, she heads to work and meets the famous idol Zayn. She's shocked by his fame and how crazy all the girls are for him. She scoffs and says, "Seriously? What do they see in him? He's not even my type." She walks up to him casually and asks, "So, what exactly am I supposed to do?" He quickly realizes she's new and thinks she seems slow and clueless. He starts mocking her, and she tells him, "Take it easy, will you? It's my first day." Looking unimpressed, he says, "That's it. I'm calling the company and asking how they could send me a rookie like you." She acts all pitiful and says, "Why are you being so mean to me? I finally got a job." He feels sorry for her and agrees to leave her alone on one condition, that she doesn't cause him trouble or interfere with his work. She says, "That's fine, no problem." Then one of his fans comes over and gives her a photo of Zayn, telling her she loves him and wants his autograph. She takes the photo and goes to Zayn to ask for the autograph, but he refuses, saying he doesn't have time for such nonsense. Wanting to please the fan, she takes matters into her own hands and tries to copy his signature. She gives the autographed photo to the girl, who gets excited and later tries to sell it. But someone notices the signature is fake, chaos erupts, and everyone starts mocking her, calling her a liar and starting a fight. The girl defends herself by pointing at Sai, saying, "She's the one who told me Zayn signed it." They grab Sai, but Zayn steps in, helps her, and calms everyone down. He tells them not to worry and says he'll sign the photos for them, just no more drama. He takes all the photos and makes Sai sign them instead. Because of this, she ends up with even more work and has to stay late. The male lead notices how late it's getting and sends her a message saying he'll come pick her up. She replies, "I have a lot of work," but he insists he'll wait anyway. She says, "Fine, do what you want." Zayn starts to feel sorry for her and offers to drive her home, hinting that he's starting to like her because she's kind. She declines, saying her friend is coming to pick her up. He says, "As you wish," and leaves. Right then, the male lead shows up and takes her home. He thinks about finally confessing his feelings but doesn't have the courage yet, so he buys a book on how to confess love. The first rule in the book says, like their videos and subscribe to their channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss anything they post. He actually takes it seriously and starts doing just that. Meanwhile, she goes to work and Zayn starts bullying her again by giving her loads of tasks to keep her close to him. She doesn't fight back, but she's overwhelmed and miserable. Then the secretary comes in and tells her that Hanaya, the model, is supposed to shoot an ad with Zayn, but she hasn't shown up yet. Zayn is upset and wants to leave. The secretary finishes by saying, "Your story was sweet and all, but now here's what you need to do. You need to convince Zayn to wait." She says, "Okay, may God deal with the cruel and unjust." She goes to convince him, telling him, "She'll be here soon, I'm sure," but Zayn replies, "I don't want to hear another word. I'm leaving if she doesn't show up right now." She says, "Wait, we'll figure it out. We'll get you another girl, even prettier." He says, "No, no way, but if you're the one replacing her, then I don't mind." She's forced to agree so he won't walk out, and she ends up doing the shoot with him. Just then, Hanaya shows up and gets angry when she sees them together, because she turns out to be his ex-girlfriend. She pushes Sai away and starts a fight with her. Malik keeps fuming and says, "What's going on? If you had done your job and hadn't been late, I wouldn't have ended up shooting with another girl. Does she even look like someone fit to be photographed with me?" She snaps back, "What do you mean photographed with you? You were the one who told me to pose with you. Did you bring me here just to humiliate me or what?" He says, "So now you're calling me a liar? Fine, I'm done filming," and walks away. She follows him and says, "Fine, I'm the liar," pleading in her own way for him to come back and finish the shoot. He agrees on one condition, that she stays with him until the shoot ends. She does stay and takes care of him. Meanwhile, our male lead arrives and sees them together. He feels jealous and assumes something is going on between them. That pushes him to finally take a step before he loses her. On March 14th, he surprises her with a gift. She gets excited and says, "Finally you felt something, you donkey. What's the occasion, huh?" He replies, "Open it first and I'll tell you." She opens the gift and finds a pillow with Einstein's face on it. She laughs and says, "What's this? Wow, who's that even supposed to be? Happy whatever to you too." He tells her, "Today's Einstein's birthday and I thought there's no better time to give a delicate girl like you my favorite pillow. You can have it. I don't want it anymore." She teases, "Who said I like pillows? And who even is Einstein? I've been a failure my whole life." He says, "You didn't like it? But it looks cute, right?" He still wants to get closer to her, so he sticks to the book's advice and follows the steps. Then he goes to Ty and tells him the whole story, asking for his help. Ty agrees, on one condition, that he buys him dinner. So they go to a restaurant where they see someone harassing a girl. Our male lead rushes over to help, but ends up getting caught in the mess. Ty tries to defend him, but they end up beating him up too. He yells, "Why am I even involved?" and runs off. He quickly calls Sai and asks her to come help. She brings Zayn along since he was sitting nearby, and they go to rescue them. When they arrive, the police are already there and want to arrest them, but Zayn uses his connections to get them released and has the actual harasser arrested. After everything is settled, Sai returns home, and the male lead sends her a message thanking her and Zayn for helping him that day. He also asks if she wants to go out with him tomorrow. She smiles and replies, "Go out where exactly?" He dodges the question, saying, "You'll see, I'm gonna blow your mind." The real reason is that he wants to practice how to date a girl, so he says, "Let's go out and do a mock date so I can practice." She agrees, and the next day she puts on her best outfit. He takes her to a fancy restaurant and spends the whole time stunned by how beautiful she looks. He tries to gather his courage to confess that she's the girl he actually wants to date, but before he can say anything, she gets a call from Zayn. Zayn tells her, "I want you in front of me right now. If you don't show up in 15 minutes, consider yourself fired." She goes to him and finds him at the amusement park. She asks, "What do you want me to do now?" He replies, "Entertain me." She says, "What exactly do you mean by entertain?" He answers, "Turn into a monkey and dance for me." She says, "Turn into a monkey? Are you serious? It's my day off, for God's sake. I was just about to enjoy a dinner date with the guy who invited me out tonight. He was clearly into me." He replies, "I don't care. You're spending the day with me, keeping me company." Then he grabs her hand forcefully, but just in time, our male lead shows up and says, "Hands off her, buddy, or I'll make sure you miss them." Zayn asks, "Who are you and what's your problem?" Just as they're about to start fighting, Sai steps in and says, "Enough, guys. Am I babysitting my nephews or what? Let's just all hang out together, the three of us." But our male lead gets dizzy and can't handle most of the rides. Eventually, they decide to go into the haunted house. Again, he starts plotting revenge on Zayn and sneaks away, leaving Sai and Zayn alone together. They try to enjoy their time, but Zayn suddenly calls her in a panic, saying, "Come help me! Fans are everywhere! I'm surrounded! What do I do?" She starts heading out to help him, but our male lead stops her and asks her to distract the fans while he goes to rescue Zayn himself. When he reaches Zayn, he says, "Let's go! This is your chance to escape." Zayn replies, "Can I ask you a question?" Our male lead snaps, "Is this really the time? Move." Zayn says, "You like Fifi, don't you?" He answers, "None of your business. Say one more word and I'll shout out your location." Zayn says, Okay, I didn't say anything, I'll shut up." He replies, "That's more like it. Since you're cooperating, I'll help you," and drags him out. They meet Sai at the other gate. Later, when they return to the set, the director tells them there will be a dinner party to celebrate the end of the shoot, and invites Sai too. At the dinner, she ends up drinking too much and creates a scene. Around that time, the male lead calls and asks where she is. From her voice, he realizes she's drunk. She tells him she's at the restaurant and starts a video call. He sees Zayn next to her and gets upset. Zayn tells him, "No need to come. I'll take her home." But the male lead doesn't listen and rushes to the restaurant, then takes her home himself. Since she's not fully conscious, she confesses that she likes him. He tells her that he likes her too. But when she wakes up the next day, she doesn't remember anything. She asks how she got home, and he tells her everything that happened last night. She feels embarrassed and doesn't react much. Then he takes the next step and asks her out on a date. She agrees. They go out together and take pictures, which they post on Instagram. When she sees the comments, everyone assumes they're a couple, and secretly, that makes her happy. But later, when they return, she sees him going out dressed up and looking sharp. She gets worried and asks him where he's going. He says he's going to work on the research paper with Mimi. She starts to feel upset and decides to follow him and spy on them instead of letting him slip away. She sees them together and feels jealous, getting even more upset. When Mimi goes to the bathroom, our male lead spots Sai watching and goes to talk to her. He says, "What are you doing here?" She answers, "You must have the wrong person, brother. This isn't the right address." He replies, "Don't act so clever. You look ridiculous. And that disguise of yours isn't even worth a quarter." She asks, "What do you want?" He says, "Why were you spying on me?" She tells him, "Why would I spy on you? You're not the center of the universe, you know. I just happened to pass by and saw you. Pure coincidence." He says, "You know who else believes in coincidences? Your aunt." At that moment, Mimi returns and sees them standing close together. She asks, "Wait, are you two dating behind my back or what?" But he throws Sai under the bus and says, "No, of course not. We're just friends." C gets upset and storms off. She decides that when she gets home, she'll give him a hard time and show him she's not to be messed with. He senses the trouble and tries everything he can to cheer her up. He makes her breakfast, and the moment she wakes up and sees him, she forgets everything and smiles. She finds a note from him saying he forgot his file on the bed and asks her to bring it to him at work. She does, and when she arrives, she greets his friends and asks where he is. They tell her he's in the lab. She goes there and sees him with Mimi again, standing very close. She gets upset, drops the file, and leaves. His friends arrive with food to welcome her. But when they get there, they're shocked to find only the file. They ask the male lead about her, and he says she was here. They tell him she probably saw him with Mimi and misunderstood, and now she's jealous. He says, "Jealous? There's nothing between me and her, and there's nothing between me and Mimi either. We're all like siblings." But he ends up messing things up because Mimi hears him and gets upset too, leaving the lab. The male lead doesn't seem to care and goes back home, only to find that Sai has packed her bags. She tells him she's going to her father's. He says, "And what does that have to do with me?" She replies, "Right, we're not together, so you don't have the right to know. Anyway, I'm leaving. I'm gone. Goodbye. Stay with Mimi. She's good for you." He says, "For the record, you misunderstood. Let me explain." She interrupts. "I don't want to understand anything. I'm leaving." And she actually leaves. With no other option, the male lead goes to Ty and says, "Help me, my friend. Fifi left the house." Ty says, "What do you want me to do? Looks like you're just as messed up as I am." "Welcome to the club," he says. "Exactly, that's why I came to you, to help me get her back to live with me again." Ty replies, "If a monkey could help itself." "Listen, just send her a message. Say a couple of sweet words, throw in a few hearts, and she'll come back. She's soft and kind." He says, "Man, that's the problem. She blocked me everywhere." Ty says, "Don't worry, there's still a way to reach her." He asks, "What is it? Impress me." Ty tells him Fifi is obsessed with games. After what happened, she's definitely going to log in and play. We'll join the game and talk to her there. At the same time, C arrives at her friend's place and tells them everything that happened with the male lead. One of them says, "That lowlife traitor, forget him, we'll find you a king to marry. Just leave him and let's play a game." She opens the game. And right then the male lead sees her online and can't believe it. He takes the chance to talk to her and tries to explain everything, but she rejects him, of course. So he says, "Fine, let's play against each other. Whoever wins gets to make one request, and the other has to do it, no questions asked." He manages to win and tells her his request is for her to come home tonight. When she arrives, he immediately tells her, "There's nothing between me and Mimi." She replies, "See, caught you. You can't even keep our name straight." He says, "No, really, we're just like siblings. I've never looked at her that way. How could I when I have a moon like you in front of me?" She says, "So she's a moon too?" He says, No, I didn't mean it like that." She finally says, "Okay, fine, I'll move back in with you, but only if you drop all the rules." He agrees. She gets excited, grabs all her stuff, and throws it around the living room, turning the whole place into a mess. But he doesn't say a word because she looks truly happy for the first time in a while. The next day, she gets a call from her mother asking, "What did you do?" She replies, "What? I don't understand. I just woke up." Her mother tells her to check the news. She finds a leaked video from the dinner night where she was drunk with Zayn, and she's shocked. She tries to explain the truth, but her mother refuses to listen and insists she return to the countryside where she used to live. "I'm worried about you, my daughter," her mother says. Sai tells her not to worry, but the mother isn't convinced and says she'll come check on her herself. "Send me your location." Just to get her mother off her back, she sends it. But then, her mother actually arrives at the company. Everyone starts talking badly about her, which causes a lot of problems for Zayn. But when the male lead finds out, he goes to comfort her. He tells her not to pay attention and gives her headphones to put in her ears so she doesn't have to hear the harsh words and feel the pain with no one to comfort her. She thanks him for thinking about her and keeps the headphones in her ears all the time. Later, she goes to apologize to Zayn, but he tells her he's not upset with her and will try to help her get rid of the rumors. She goes back home, and her younger brother, Kevin, calls to wish her a happy birthday. She's happy that someone finally remembered her birthday and thanks him. When she wakes up, someone knocks on the door bringing a bunch of balloons, which makes her happy. She thinks it's the male lead who sent her a birthday gift, but when she opens the door, she finds Zayn standing there. She says to him, Come in quickly, for God's sake. We don't need more rumors. People finally stopped talking, and now you'll make them think we're dating. He tells her not to worry and says he checked everything. Nobody followed him, and no one saw him come. He gives her a necklace as a gift, and she gets really happy when she sees it. At that moment, the male lead arrives. When he sees Zayn, he gets angry and says, "What are you doing here?" Zayn responds, "What's it to you? Is this your house?" The male lead says, "Actually, yes, it is." She interrupts them and says, "Guys, calm down. Didn't we agree to be friends and stop fighting? Whoever raises his voice is getting kicked out." Suddenly, someone knocks on the door again. She panics and says, "Oh God, please no." She opens the door and is shocked to see her mother. "Oh no, 2 guys inside. How do I explain this?" She says, "What are you doing here, Mom?" Her mother replies, "Is that how a respectful girl talks to her mother? Of course I came to celebrate your birthday, my daughter. And who are these guys in your place?" She gets flustered and says, "They're just my friends who came to celebrate my birthday too." Her mom says, "So where are the rest of them, or do you only hang out with 2 boys?" She says, "No, of course not. The rest are on their way." And quickly calls Lolo and says, "Bring Ty and come here fast." But Kevin notices she's nervous and says, "Sis, something's off. What are you hiding from us?" She says, "Don't act smart with me. I swear if you open your mouth in front of Mom, I'll crack your head open. Just let the day pass peacefully and let Mom leave happy." And she walks off. She opens the door for Lolo and Ty, and they all celebrate her birthday together. For the first time in a long while, she feels truly happy because everyone she loves is around her. After the day ends and everyone leaves, the moment her mother is gone, she calls the male lead and tells him, "You can come back now, it's safe," and apologizes for making him leave his own house. She says it wouldn't have been right for her mom to find out he was staying with her. He tells her that, honestly, he has feelings for her and loves her. She replies, "Really? I love you too, and I've had a crush on you for a long time, but I still won't date you right away. You know why? Because it shouldn't be easy. You have to suffer and go through hell just like I did in the beginning." She tells him she's going to put him to the test. Every time he does something she likes, he'll earn 10 points. Once he reaches 100, they'll become a couple. But if he does something she hates, she'll deduct points. He says, "Easy, I've always gotten full marks and you'll love me even more." When she gets to work, the manager tells her that Zayn has a fan meeting today and asks her to accompany him. But when the fans see her, they think she's the girl from the leaked video with Zayn and assume they're dating. So they start fighting with her and insulting her. At that moment, the male lead coincidentally passes by and sees what's happening. He immediately steps in to defend her and protect her. Then Zayn shows up with his car and rushes them away before the fans can physically attack. However, the fans turn against Zayn, accusing him of not loving his fans anymore just because he defended the girl they fought with. They start speaking badly about him, unfollow him, boycott his work, and he loses a huge number of followers. The company manager gets furious and scolds him, saying, "Was she your cousin or something? Did she not have a mouth to defend herself, son? Anyway, I'm firing her. We don't want her around." They hold a meeting to decide what to do with her and tell her, "You have 24 hours. If you can't prove your innocence, you're fired." She gets upset, but Zayn reassures her and says, "Don't worry, I'll handle it. I'll post a video and show everyone that the fans started it, not you, and I'll restore our rights." She goes back home and notices the male lead looks worried. She asks him what's wrong, and he says that tomorrow they're announcing the results of the research project and who will receive the scholarship, and so far he hasn't gotten any emails or calls. She tells him, "Maybe they just haven't checked their email yet. Don't stress. We'll know tomorrow, and I'm sure you'll win. You'll get the scholarship because you're the smartest student." Her words calm him and make him feel safe. The next day, her friend calls. Her friend tells her, "Quick, check the news." And she finds a video that proves her innocence. She thinks Zayn helped her and feels happy she can return to work. Meanwhile, the male lead also goes to check the results of the research competition. And when he arrives, he's shocked to find out that Mimi is the winner and his research was rejected. He's confused about how that happened. When Sai finds out, she comforts him and says, "Don't let it get to you. Apply for another scholarship. I'm sure you'll get it." Then Mimi, full of arrogance, comes and invites him to a party to celebrate her win. She tries to convince Sai to come along for a change of mood, and the male lead agrees to go, but only if Sai comes with him. At the party, Sai excuses herself to go to the bathroom, and Mimi, the snake, follows her and says, "What a shame, Bibo is so smart. I honestly don't know how he didn't win the scholarship. Must be because the people around him are idiots. He probably got affected by them." She tries to make Sai feel small and not good enough for him. But Sai stands strong, doesn't care about what she says, and just leaves. Later, back at home, she notices that the male lead is down and slipping into a depression over the loss. She decides to do something about it and help him in any way she can. She goes to their lab friends and asks them to help her find out the reason his research was rejected and if they can get the professor's contact information. When she visits the professor's house, he tells her that the decision is final and the scholarship already went to Mimi. She says, "At least tell us why his research was rejected." He explains that there were some missing parts and that the submission was late. She's surprised because Bibo is very smart, extremely punctual, and calculates everything to the second. She goes back to their friends, and they start brainstorming ways to help him. When Mimi overhears them, she gets nervous and quietly leaves. The friends seize the chance to search her computer for clues and eventually discover that she had intentionally delayed Bibo's research and hid it so it never reached the professor. Everything that happened was her fault. C gets furious and decides to expose her. She checks the lab's security camera footage and finds a video showing Mimi sneaking back into the lab that day to sabotage the research. She uses this as evidence and confronts her. Mimi acts all innocent, crying and saying, "I'm innocent, I've been played." But C tells her, "Denial won't help you. You're not leaving until you confess everything. You're the one who ruined Bibo's scholarship." At that moment, the male lead arrives and stops her. He asks Mimi, "Why did you do this to me?" She replies, "Because you're smart. You'll have other chances anytime, but this was my only chance and I had to take it. I didn't do anything wrong." She breaks down and leaves the lab, but no one pays her any attention. When Dr. Kim finds out, he reassures Sai and comforts the male lead, saying, "Don't worry." Then they all find out that a new competition is coming up soon, and he'll still have a chance to participate. After all, he's brilliant, and she's sure he'll win. C gets excited and encourages him. When she goes to work, her boss gives her a cat and asks her to take care of it, explaining that the cats will be used in filming and are extremely expensive. She must protect it like it's her own eyes. On the way home, she remembers that the male lead is afraid of cats and starts thinking of a way to sneak it in without him noticing. She moves quietly and successfully sneaks the cat in, but when she goes to sleep, he wakes up and sees the cat. He's shocked and starts shouting, but she tells him not to make a big deal. It's only for today, and she'll return it to the chute tomorrow. She even tries to help him bond with the cat and slowly get used to it. Over time, he warms up to it and finally starts to like it. Later, when he resubmits his research to the scientists from China, they're highly impressed and say they want to support him. Unfortunately, they explain that this is only possible if he relocates to China, so the research can be supervised by their experts. The scholarship will last 1 year. He tells them he wants to stay in Thailand, but they insist that moving is the only way to get the grant. He feels torn because he doesn't want to leave Sai behind and decides to reject the offer. Professor Kim, however, tells them not to take his words seriously just yet. He's still a kid, and he'll try to convince him his own way. But the male lead doesn't care and goes to deliver the cat to Sai at her filming location. Zayn takes the cat from him and starts playing with it. He gets distracted for a bit and the cat climbs up a tree. When the director finds out, he yells at Sai and tells her to handle it. She asks the others for help, and both Zayn and the male lead try to climb and get the cat. They start fighting again, but Zayn's manager stops him. The male lead goes up the tree and rescues the cat, but as he's coming down, he slips. Zayn manages to catch him just in time. He scolds him, "If you can't handle this kind of thing, why act like a superhero? You could have seriously hurt yourself, and what did the poor cat do to deserve falling with you?" The male lead snaps back, "Mind your own business, go finish your shoot and stop bothering me." Zayn's manager, seeing the male lead's good looks, says, "Hey, you're quite the handsome guy. Want to act with us?" The male lead replies, "No thanks, I'm not into that silly stuff." The manager insists, "Why not? I heard you turned down the scholarship in China. Maybe you should give acting a shot. You might be good at it." Zayn, the troublemaker, overhears and immediately runs to tell Sai that the male lead refused the China scholarship and it's all because of her. He doesn't want to leave her, She confronts the male lead and asks if it's true. He gets flustered and tells her he really did turn it down to stay by her side. There are plenty of other scholarships. Missing one won't kill me. She tells him, "What do you mean? We worked so hard for this, and besides, it's just 1 year. I won't die without you. In fact, if you accept the offer, consider yourself with 100 points. I'll agree to be your girlfriend right away, and I'll wait for you, whether it's 1 year or even 100. He believes her, makes his decision, and finally agrees to travel. They go out together one last time before he leaves, and return home happy. But of course, life doesn't plan to leave them in peace. The doorbell rings and they find Lolo at the door, furious and emotional. She shouts at them, calling Ty a lowlife, a cheater, and trash. She swears she'll never go back to him and that he'll regret ever looking at another girl. C pulls her aside and tells her to calm down and explain what happened. Lolo says she saw him giving a bouquet of flowers to another girl. It's obvious he loves her and is secretly having kids with her. She curses him again and says she has to break up with him, but reassures Sai not to worry because her sister is still there for her. But the male lead isn't happy with all the shouting and immediately calls Ty, telling him to come pick up Lolo right away because he has a headache and can't deal with this. Ty says he'll be there in 5 minutes. But when Lolo sees him, she snaps again and yells, "What are you doing here, you rat face? I was finally free of you!" He pleads with her to talk, but she cuts him off and says, "Go talk to your mother. I'm not wasting my breath on a cheater." Ty goes to cry to the male lead and tells him, "I'm not leaving. I'm staying here too." The male lead groans and says, "Why is everyone acting like this is a shelter or something? This is my house." He goes to sleep, and when he wakes up, he starts packing. Sai goes to say goodbye before he leaves. Then she heads to work, and when Zayn finds out that the male lead has traveled, he decides to take advantage of situation. He tries to get closer to Sai and asks her out. She refuses, saying she doesn't want to go anywhere with him, but he drags her along anyway. At that moment, Ty is secretly listening to the call and thinks Zayn is trying to kidnap her. He follows them with Lolo, and the two of them begin spying to keep an eye on Zayn in case he tries anything. Zayn, meanwhile, tries to convince Sai to forget about the male lead and be with him instead. "I could be your boyfriend," he says. "Don't think that guy will remember you after he travels. He's definitely going to forget you and meet someone prettier over there." She snaps back, "Why are you acting like he's gone forever? It's just a year." Zayn insists, "Trust me, it makes a difference. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to trick you or fool you. You're a sweet, kind girl, and I'm a sweet, kind guy. I'm just trying to give you some advice, man to woman. So, are we doing this or not?" She's stunned and doesn't know how to respond or escape situation. When Ty bursts in, she quickly escapes, and they sit in her place, telling everyone around that the girl who was sitting at the table is actually a famous celebrity named Zayn. Everyone rushes toward him, hoping to take pictures, and the distraction gives Sai a chance to slip away and head back home. As soon as she arrives, she finds Kate waiting and ranting about a girl whose boyfriend traveled to China for 3 months, only to come back and confess that he cheated on her 6 times. Kate scoffs and says, "Men never miss a chance to cheat." Sai sighs and replies sarcastically, "Thanks, that's reassuring. I was worried before, but now I'm certain. My boyfriend is probably already married with 2 kids. I'll raise them myself." She spends all her time anxious, especially since he hasn't been calling to check on her. But suddenly she receives gifts from China that he sent her, and as soon as she sees them, her mood lifts and she forgets all her doubts. When she gets to the company, her manager tells her that she's been selected to direct and take full responsibility for a short film. Zayn will be the lead actor, and she gets to choose who plays Sai, write the story, and handle every detail from start to finish. She can't believe it. Finally, her dream of creating her own film is coming true. She rushes to share the good news with the male lead and sends him a video explaining that the story of the film will be based on their love story, so the whole world will always remember it. Then director Han comes to check on her and offers support, saying, "If you need anything, let me know. And of course, I'll need you to send me every update and draft so I can review them." Sai assures her, "Don't worry. You'll be with me step by step. I promise the film will be amazing. It's going to be a huge success." When asked who she wants to cast as the female lead, she confidently says, "No one else but my best friend Lolo. She's really talented." Then she adds, "And Ty is a great director. He can help us if we need anything. I don't want you guys to worry about anything." She goes to pitch the idea to Tai, and he agrees right away. That night, the whole team gathers at a restaurant to start planning the shoot. After finishing the film, Sai goes back home and sends a message to the male lead, telling him all about her day, but he doesn't respond. Someone tells her maybe he's just busy, but deep down she's scared that some other woman has stolen him away. That's when she decides to take a break and fly to China. She's going to stay right on top of him while she's there. And as soon as she goes to tell the manager that she's traveling, he tells her he agrees, but she has to finish the edits on the film first. She says, "But I've already booked the ticket, there's no time." Then director Han finds out and tells her, "Don't worry, just put everything on a flash drive, and I'll finish the rest of the film and even upload it for you. It'll be shown in all the cinemas, don't worry about anything at all." She replies, "Seriously, are there still kind and decent people like you who help others? I can't believe it. Just give me 1 second and I'll have everything ready for you." When she travels and arrives at the lab where the male lead works, no one allows her to enter. Because she's Thai and everyone else there is Chinese, she can't communicate with them. But then someone named Fadi shows up. He's also Thai, and he helps her get inside. As soon as she enters, she's shocked to see her old friend Wang standing in front of her. Wang says she's happy to see her after all these years and is surprised by how successful she's become. But Wang doesn't really care. She just asks what she's doing there. C says she came to meet someone named Bibo, so Wang takes her to him. At first she assumes they're just friends, but when she finds out C is his girlfriend, she gets upset. She has feelings for him herself. When the male lead tries to introduce them to each other, Wang cuts him off and says, "No need. I already know her. She used to be the girlfriend of my ex who also happens to be your friend, Tai. She's the reason we broke up the first time. I hope she won't be the reason for another breakup." Unfortunately, while they're eating, food spills on Sai, so she goes to clean up her clothes. Wang follows her, pretending to help, and C thinks they've made up and become friends again. But Wang snaps, saying, "Friends? There's a big difference between us now. I'm a renowned scientist and you're just a silly girl." She keeps humiliating Sai in front of everyone, bullying and mocking her the whole time. But the male lead notices what's happening and doesn't let it continue. He takes Sai and leaves the restaurant with her. She asks where she's going to stay now, so he takes her to his apartment, lets her rest, and heads back to the lab. There, Wang starts stirring up trouble again, saying, "I don't understand what you see in someone like her. She's dumb and won't be any good for you. You're a rising scientist. You need someone like me, someone who can actually support you." He tells her to mind her own business. Then, his professor informs him about a big upcoming seminar that he must attend. He'll be presenting, so he needs to prepare a full research report on stars. They also inform him that Wang will be helping with the preparation, so he takes her with him that night to observe the stars. When Sai finds out, she follows them. As he goes to grab drinks for everyone, Wang seizes the opportunity to mock C again. She gets upset and leaves. When the male lead returns home, he tells her about the seminar and that it's very important to him. She feels sad that she'll be alone, so he calls his professor and asks if his girlfriend can come with him. The professor agrees without hesitation. Sai gets excited. Finally, she'll get to share something important in his life and be his support. She puts on her best outfit and goes with him. As soon as they arrive, Wang sees them together and gets furious. She decides to take revenge on C. She waits until the male lead goes on stage to deliver his presentation, then turns her attention to C, unleashing a fresh wave of mockery and ridicule. She tells her, "The life of scientists is different from the lives of ordinary people like you. You people feel more like engineers. You won't be able to adapt to him at all because you're stupid, and you'll never be able to make him happy in any way. If I were you, I'd run away now before you get trapped in this relationship." C tries to ignore her and not pay attention to what she's saying, but when the male lead finishes, he goes to ask C what she thought of his seminar. She tells him she didn't really understand anything, but that everything he said sounded sweet like honey. He doesn't mind, and goes to discuss things with Wang, who tells him there were a few things he missed, and that he needs to improve for next time. He thanks her for the feedback, and they continue talking, completely distracted from Sai. C starts to feel like she doesn't belong there, so she decides to leave and heads into the forest. At that moment, the male lead notices she's not around and goes looking for her. He asks the security guard if he saw a short girl with messy hair. The guard replies, "Yeah, a girl just passed by toward the forest. That sounds like her. I warned her many times, but she didn't care, so I let her go." The male lead is shocked and rushes to find her. Meanwhile, in the forest, Sai thinks she's lost and that no one will care or even bother to look for her. But the male lead arrives just in time. He asks her why she left alone, and she finds out he was worried about her. She starts crying and tells him she felt like she wasn't right for him, like she'd become an obstacle in his path and that he's destined to be a famous scientist. She says, "If letting me go would bring you peace, then let's all rest. Please don't worry about me anymore." He takes her home and surprises her with a necklace for Chinese Valentine's Day. She's overjoyed because it's the first gift anyone has ever given her for this holiday. But her happiness doesn't last long, as she has to return to Thailand for work. Before she leaves, she reminds him that she left him a flash drive and asks him to open it. It's important. When he opens it, he finds a video of her talking about her film, explaining the story and everything behind it. He encourages her and apologizes for not seeing her messages, explaining that he was too busy. She says it's okay and forgives him. When she returns to work, everyone is talking about the film and how beautiful it is. They're all praising Director Han for what she accomplished. C is confused and asks them why they're congratulating Han when she's the one who made the film. Tuna tells her, "What do you mean? Han told us she made it and she even submitted it to the competition under her own name." Isai storms off to confront Han and demands to know when she supposedly made the film. "I did everything," she says. Han replies casually, "Come on, you and I are the same. Besides, I only finished a few small parts that were left." C shouts, "But I was the one who filmed it, wrote it, and brought in the actors. How can you claim all of that as your own?" She goes to report Han to the president, and thankfully, he supports her. But he tells her that Han is the manager, and that the film had to be submitted under the company's name. So Han took advantage of situation, saying, "You traveled and left everything behind, so I submitted it to the competitions myself. I waited 2 days for you to show up. Anyway, since I'm kind, I'll make sure your name is mentioned as one of the contributors to the film." She hands her a ticket to attend the film's screening at the competition. C feels upset and goes to tell Zayn, who tells her, "Then go complain, girl, file a lawsuit against them." But she says, "If I do that, they'll fire me from the company, and I worked so hard to get this job in the first place." He asks her, "Then what are you going to do now?" She replies, "Of course I won't stay quiet. I'll get my rights back." And she goes to tell Ty what happened, and he promises to help her. At the same time, the male lead is able to finish the project he was working on and asks the professor for a vacation. The professor says, "Of course, son, but honestly, we've been thinking, you're an outstanding student, and we can't afford to lose you. We want you to stay here in China. We'll give you a multi-year contract, a big salary, and you'll become a successful scientist like you've always dreamed. What do you think?" But he apologizes and says he wants to live in Thailand near his beloved. When his mother finds out, she goes to fight with him and says, "I won't allow you to ruin your life for a girl." He says, "Why, Mom? That's selfish. You just want me to stay alone forever." She gets angry and says, "Fine, do whatever you want." When Sai goes to attend the competition, Tai goes with her and tries to support her and expose Han's truth, that she stole the film. But Han turns everyone against them and says, "If you have any proof, show it." C becomes confused and lost for words, but just then, the male lead arrives at the last moment and says, "The proof is with me." He gives her the flash drive that contains the video of her talking about the film before she even started filming. Everyone realizes the idea really was hers and that Han stole it. All the reporters side with Sai and accuse Han of being a thief. Han stands there like a drenched rat, unable to defend herself. C is overjoyed that the male lead came and supported her at the last moment. She asks him how he found out, and he says, "That idiot Tai accidentally told me, so I booked a ticket right away and came to support you." C thought her life would be ruined after all this, that no one would hire her again, but the opposite happens. Many people admire her work and ask to collaborate with her, inviting her to work on ads and new projects. Her life begins to stabilize, and she decides to study science. She goes to Dr. Kim and asks him to give her physics lessons so she can understand the male lead's work better. But it turns out to be really exhausting, and she becomes tired. The male lead tells her to stop the lessons, and he realizes he loves her even when she's a little dumb. At the same time, Zayn decides to write a song for Sai, to confess his love for the millionth time. He sends her a message and asks her to meet him at the amusement park. As soon as she arrives, he sings the song he wrote, hoping her heart would soften and she'd fall for him. But she tells him, "The song is really nice, honestly, but I wasn't affected. We're like siblings, man. There's nothing between us." At that moment, the male lead arrives and says to him, "I told you already, she and I are together. What are you trying to do?" But this time, Zayn doesn't get upset. He says, "Don't get involved," and tells Sai that he'll try to move past his feelings for her and asks if they can at least be friends. She agrees, and the male lead feels relieved that he's finally out of the picture. When they get back home, the male lead's phone rings while he's in the bathroom, so she picks it up and sees it's Wang calling. C doesn't let it slide and says, "You chameleon, why are you calling my boyfriend?" Wang replies, "Because I knew you'd be the one to answer. Anyway, I just wanted to let you know that Bibo turned down a huge scholarship because of you." When Sai sees the male lead, she immediately confronts him and says, "So, how's the scholarship going?" He says, "It's fine." She says hi. She asks, "What's wrong with you? I left you just 5 minutes ago and you were fine." He replies, "Yeah, that's past tense based on nonsense." "What you did is insane, sir. Turning down a scholarship that could have made you a scientist all because of me and without even asking my opinion. What am I, a useless object in this house with no say?" She adds, "Oh, and now you're saying I'm a killjoy, so I'm not good enough for you? Fine, I'm leaving right now. I'm done. I'm out of here." He tries to calm her down, saying, Okay, just relax. When you come back from work, I'll cook for you. I know you love food to death." She replies, "Fine, deal, I'll go." But when she gets back, she's shocked to find his mother standing in front of her. His mother says, "So you're the one my son is ruining his future for? Couldn't he at least find someone decent looking? You look like a dried up stick, all bony like a toothpick. Look here, girl, I'm going out for 5 minutes. By the time I'm back, you better have packed your things and left." She humiliates Sai and makes her look really bad. She starts crying and says, without even letting her finish, "I was already planning to leave?" Our male lead apologizes to her and says, "She's just an old woman, don't take her words to heart. I'll take her and leave now. I'll leave the house for you." But she replies, "There's no need. I told you I'm the one leaving and I meant it." So she writes him a letter, packs her things, and leaves before sunrise. In the letter, she apologizes and tells him, "We're too different. Each of us has our own life. You and I were never meant to be a couple. You're a famous scientist with a bright future ahead of you. I'm just someone with simple thoughts who barely managed to make one film. I'd get a cow, milk it, and drink its milk. And if the cow gets thirsty, I'd give it milk too. Because I believe cows drink milk. That's how limited my knowledge is. That's why I decided to leave you. Please don't look for me." Our male lead breaks down and searches for her day and night, but can't find her. Meanwhile, Sai decides to return to her rural hometown to live with her family again. She asks Tai to take her there and tells him not to tell Bibo. Tai agrees, but the moment she's gone, he calls him and says, "Yo, Bibo, your girl left the city and went back to her countryside village. Yep, she's with her family now, probably peeling onions or something. Don't be late, man. Go after her." The male lead rushes to her and goes to Professor Kim to tell him that he's coming back to work with him again because he's decided to leave China. Mimi is thrilled and offers to work with him on a new research project. Meanwhile, Sai arrives at the village and is greeted by her brother Kevin, who says, "Why on earth are you back?" She replies honestly, "I broke up with my boyfriend and I don't want to see him again." He tells her, "Honestly, I had a feeling this would happen. Don't worry, he's the one who lost out. I'll find you someone better, someone who matches your intelligence." She tells him, "No better, no worse. I don't want any relationship." She spends all her time working with her mother in the shop, staying sad and gloomy. Around the same time, Wong returns to Thailand and goes to talk to the male lead. He tells her he hasn't changed his mind and won't go back to China. She says, "But I brought you some really good news. I heard that if you try to convince them your way, they might agree to a collaboration between China and Thailand, and you'll become the joint scientist. And at the same time, you'll be near your girlfriend." She gives him a letter and wishes him good luck. He's happy that he can finally do what he loves without having to leave Sai behind. He immediately decides to travel to her village, but when he arrives, he finds out she's out on a date. He's determined to ruin that marriage setup completely. The moment she sees his face, she says, "What are you doing here?" He replies, "So I'm not allowed to come check on you while you're out here cheating on me, madam?" She responds, "Cheating? We broke up, remember? And besides, what are you even doing here? Are you part of my family now or what? Just leave." He says, "I'm not going anywhere." She says, "Fine, I'll leave then." He follows her and says, "Wait, I just want to tell you something." She says, "What more do you want? Isn't it enough what your mother said to me? Go focus on your future and stay away from me." He says, "Just wait, let me explain." She says, "No, I don't want to hear it. I told you already. We each go our separate ways." Still, he doesn't give up. The next day, he goes to her mother's shop and tries to start a conversation, but she keeps ignoring him. He keeps insisting, and she scolds him harshly. Then her mother steps in and says, "What do you want, son? Didn't you two break up already? Weren't you supposed to be in another country? Why are you back here now?" He says, "Listen, Auntie, didn't you say your daughter is dumb?" She says, "Yes, I believe that too." He continues, "Let me explain. I came to tell her something, but she misunderstood. Can I explain it to you?" She says, "No, if my daughter said she doesn't want you, then she doesn't want you. So I'm not going to listen to you either. I'm just like my daughter." He says, "Ah, so it runs in the family." He then goes to Ty and says, "What do I do with this family? They all have the same hormones." Ty tells him, "Look, your only solution is Kevin, the younger brother. Win him over and he'll help you with everything." So our male lead invites Kevin for lunch and says, "Do you think it's fair how Weiseister's treating me when I love her?" Kevin replies, "Honestly, you seem like a decent guy. I'll help you. Clearly, you're blinded by love. I don't even know what you love about her, man. I can't stand her at home. How do you put up with her? But here's the solution. If you can get close to my mom and make her like you, she'll let you marry her. In fact, my mom is obsessed with the lottery. Go help her win just once in her life, and she might love you more than her own daughter. She might even adopt you and toss Sai into the nearest alley." So he goes with her to the lottery center she buys from and tells her to pick group number 9, knowing there's a winning card in it. He asks her to trust him, and she listens. She buys it. The next day he visits her again, and when the results are announced, the number 9 group wins. She gets 10,000 from it and is thrilled, completely in shock. She tells him, "From today on, consider yourself like my son. You're no less dear to me than my children, maybe even more. But tell me, how do you do this?" He says, "That's it, I'm working in the shop with you all now." She tells him to consider the shop his own now, but Sai doesn't care and goes out with her father to the festival. Our hero follows her and tries to make peace. He gets close to her in front of everyone and keeps praising her, calling her his love and saying she's the best person he's ever met. She feels embarrassed and tells him to stop, but he says, "Come on, Dad. Argue with me or something. Make it seem like I'm valuable to you." Her father pulls her aside and tells her, "Honestly, you're being unfair to this kind guy. He really looks like he loves you. Try to give him a chance." She says, "I'm just afraid I'll hold him back from his future." He replies, "Your mother used to say the same thing about me. And look, we got married and had 2 wonderful kids." She asks, "Is that what you mean?" He says, "Go talk to him. Maybe you two will have kids even sweeter than ours." That night, there's a Valentine's Day festival in Thailand. This time, our hero shows up and tries to talk to her any way he can. She finally decides to stop running away from him and tells him she loves him and will go back with him. If anything happens, they'll face it together. No more running. He gets so happy and gives her a necklace to make their relationship official. But of course, just when things start going well, his mother shows up and starts yelling, saying, "You've got the nerve to come all the way here for her? I swear I'll ruin both your lives. Didn't I tell you to stay away from him?" C stands frozen, unable to defend herself. Then her mom calls her and hears someone yelling on the other side. She asks, "Who's that loud woman shouting at you?" Then says, "Hold the phone still, I'm coming over with all the guys right now." Within seconds, her mother arrives and starts arguing with his mother. "Who do you think you are to talk to my daughter like that? Do you think she has no one behind her?" Just as the hero's mom is about to reply, she stops in shock and says, "Kira? Oh my God, is that you? Samia? How are you, sweetheart? Where have you been all these years?" They both freeze in surprise, not understanding what's going on. Our hero's mother explains that they used to be neighbors and were like sisters. But then, they moved away and lost touch. C suddenly realizes that the hero is the same boy from her childhood, the one she loved and had been searching for all these years. The mothers reconcile and say, That's it, our kids are meant for each other. We won't delay this any longer. The hero can't believe it and immediately throws a party. He proposes to Sai in front of everyone, giving her a ring and asking, "Will you marry me?" She says, "Don't embarrass me, of course I will." They throw a huge wedding party, inviting all the followers of Movies Room who had subscribed. Those who didn't subscribe weren't invited. He gives out gifts and tons of food to those who liked the video, while the ones who didn't just watched others eat. Even Huang shows up to the wedding. Everyone is invited, and they live happily ever after with cute little children. And that's the end of this light, sweet, and heartwarming drama. Hope you enjoyed this lovely story. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. It'll only take you a few seconds and will make us both super happy. See you. Don't forget to subscribe for more. Check out more recaps you'll absolutely love right here.